All right, what's up, everybody? This will be episode 3 of the podcast. Got another special guest with me today. Known this guy for a little bit. I'll let him introduce himself, though.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? My name is Matt Brown. I'm a bodybuilder, fitness model, and an actor. Like I said, Blaze, thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, so I wanted to really just there's a couple things I want to get into with you, but first, let's a lot of people I start out and kind of ask them about their childhood and their upbringing, kind of like if you're comfortable talking about that, and kind of like what your upbringing was like.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it was always really good. As a little kid, I was always involved in sports, like anywhere from baseball, wrestling, basketball. I kind of did a little bit of everything. I was always on the move. Did all the AAU teams, all the travel ball, everything like that. There was a time where I was on like 2 football teams and a bowling team.
Really?
You know? Yeah. So I was always pretty active as like a little kid.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
I just kind of stayed with it.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, though. Well, I'm trying to think of how to segue into this, because I wanted to ask how you got into fitness anyways, and the bodybuilding, what kind of like drew you to that.
Okay.
So I'll let you answer that, how you got into it, what kind of drew you to it.
Well, I remember like in the 90s seeing like Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman on the Flex magazines and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I always went to the grocery store and I always got the magazines. I flipped through it and I was just fascinated. I liked working out. My brother started working out. He was older. He's 5 years older than me. So he was in the gym before me and I was interested, and he would take me sometimes, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole process. As a teenager, I was pretty fit. You had the abs. It was like a skinny fit. And I enjoyed it, man. I just enjoyed just working out, being in there by yourself. I think in college, though, like through high school and stuff, I was very fit. 2-time state champion wrestling, did all that stuff. Played football, baseball, and I was going to go play for the Padres, blew out my leg, and then came back, decided to go to college. I got out of shape in college. My freshman year in college, I kind of just stopped working out totally because.
So you got that freshman 15.
It kind of hit me. I just got burnt out. I was just like, man, I just want to relax and stuff. And I did, I guess, and got out of shape. I got skinny fat, right? And, it didn't really affect me until maybe like 3 years after that. I kind of noticed like, man, it'd be nice to be fit again, right? There was one point I couldn't like touch my toes. So that right there kind of did it for me. It made me want to get back into shape. But I was in a toxic relationship at the time, so I had to get out of that so that I could put like full-time effort focused on myself, like doing what I had to do. And I did, man. I started, so I used to go to the gym where nobody would see me, right? Anytime Fitness. So you go at oddball hours because you like a little embarrassed to go.
Right.
So I can relate to people that are just getting started and all that stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
And then it started getting a little more serious for me. I got my personal trainer certification, started getting my specialist in fitness nutrition certification, started doing bodybuilding shows. At the time, I was still fairly small, so I was doing a men's physique,
right?
The beach body look, and it's a great look. And I did that for probably 3 or 4 years, and then I took 2 years to get ready for classic physique.
See, I never knew you even did men's physique.
Yeah, I got some photos I could send. They're pretty cool. But like, I enjoyed it, man. That was a whole process for me, the whole learning, like how to eat healthy, like for real, and like how to measure things out and why you're eating what you're eating, and just how the body works. It was great.
Yeah.
Compared to what I was doing.
Right. Yeah. So let me ask you this. So you used to play a lot of team sports, right?
Right.
So do you actually okay, so I used to play team sports as well. Grew up, I played baseball growing up. I was pretty good at that. I tried basketball, but I was terrible at that. And then I was also into some other, more like I played paintball growing up, and a lot of people don't know that that's actually a very competitive sport. Like it's actually there's professional teams, and they have like a major tournament for it, and it's actually like it's super fun and really athletic and stuff. But I played that, and then I also raced BMX bikes. But I kind of found that what I like about bodybuilding or working out is that like you don't have to rely on any teammates. So like, you know, you play a sport and then you always got those people that maybe they're not pulling their weight or they're not into it. Whereas with bodybuilding, it's kind of all on you.
Yeah, it really is.
And that's what I kind of like about it. Is kind of like everything's left up to you. Like you have people behind you that help you out, but is that kind of the same for you? Is that what you like about it? Or one of the things?
I love it because it's something that can't be taken away from you. It's what you put into it is really what you get out. And nobody can take that from you. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? That was all on you.
Right.
You did that, you did the work. You can have guidance all day long, but I like it just because win or lose, you know, it was all on you.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, at the end of the day, like it is all on you. Even if you have people helping you out, like if you don't do what you're supposed to do, then it's on you.
They can tell you all the answers and stuff, man. Like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right?
Right. Yeah. And then so another thing you touched on, like when you said you got back in the gym during college or whatever, and you're kind of embarrassed to go.
Yeah.
And I actually touched on this in another podcast. I was talking about this with another guy. And I know you realize this now too, is that like, and I want to say this for people that may watch this, they're like kind of thinking about getting into the gym, or they may be overweight, whatever, or you're skinny. Like that's a thing too. Like if people are too skinny, they're afraid to go in the gym.
I've been on both spectrums, so yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is like, and I know you'll agree with this, is like, even if you're overweight, like the people, there may be select people that make fun of people, whatever. But like for me personally, I know it's the same for you. If I see a heavy person in there getting at it, that's motivating to me.
Oh yeah.
Like that's what, and
like 80-year-olds in there, and that motivates me because it's like everybody talks about, and especially today, everybody's like, oh, when you get older, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel this, and that's not. It doesn't have to be like that's a choice. It really is a mindset, and I believe that. This is what they've even told me. They said you got to keep moving. You got to keep. Don't listen to that. Don't let that get into your head, you know?
And that's what I was talking about in another podcast. I said, yeah, people talk about working out and how you're going to get old and break down. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to, but my goal is like, I don't want to be a person that's old and not mobile anymore.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, sure. Like everyone gets old, like it affects everybody, but it's all about slowing that process down as much as you can. And like, keeping your body moving, because if you stop moving your body, it breaks down. I mean, that's what it does.
It'll slowly shut down.
And no doubt that like the lifting that like people can do, like that I probably did in my past, and I know you're probably still doing now, it probably is a little detrimental to some degree to our joints and everything. Like, I mean, it is, but at the same time, it's, I don't know, I guess it's kind of I don't know. That's just what you want to do right now. And you kind of got to change gears once you get older.
I feel it for sure when I go in and lift. And I'm kind of pushing some heavy weight. So I've even hit to the point to where I'll even lighten the load, and I still get a great pump, man. I just rep it out, and I do a little more. And but honestly, I feel I get a better pump.
Yeah.
When I do that, sometimes I'll go to like 100, and dude, 100 will wear you out. You know.
You talking about on like a bench or something?
Curls or anything.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what people don't understand. Like, people get so caught up on weight, and like me, naturally, I'm not a strong guy at all. I'm weak as hell. Like, and also my calcium ordeal, like it makes me weaker than I should be. Right. And so I always had to find ways to like, to me, when I got into working out, I wasn't naturally strong. I wasn't one of those guys that go in there and bench 225 pounds. And some people can do that. They can walk in the gym and sit under that bar and press that. Right. Whereas me, 95 pounds, I was like, you know, like all in,
work with, you know?
Yeah. And what people need to understand is like, don't chase, like, I said this on another thing too, I guess it's a theme, is like, don't chase like doing heavy weights, because if you actually learn how to contract with like smaller weights and like actually utilize those, once you move up those heavier weights and you can actually do them, you'll be able to make better use of them.
Oh yeah.
Because you actually know how to contract with them, other than like, you see people doing like a lat pull down and like, it's all like they're like swinging way back and everything, and like
it's ugly.
yeah.
But
And I'm like,
I've gotten to the point to where I'll hit maybe like I'll do a warm up set of like 25, and then like I'll do a heavy set, right? But then I'm finishing off with very light. So
right,
you pump that heavy out, but now you're gonna hit you're really gonna rep it, and
and
it's
then
lighter. You're
drive
not
all
gonna
that
tear
blood in
anything.
there.
Yeah, you're not gonna tear nothing. Chances of getting hurt start, they lower. So
Yeah. And
I
plus,
think
I mean, to me, like the pump's the best part anyways. Like
yeah, smart
kind of.
training.
So yeah, so everyone out there, like don't get it's all about that mind muscle connection really and getting that dialed in. Um and then so let's see. I kind of want to stick on some of the fitness stuff and let you talk more about it and kind of I'm trying to think of where to go with it. Um but what about so are you prepping for a show right now?
Now, right now, I'm just
No.
kind of just training, staying fit and healthy. Just constantly, I'll go to the doctor every 3-4 months to do checkups. I'm just maintaining and just trying to be a healthy individual at this point. Um, Especially after going I usually take a little time in between shows,
Right.
sometimes 2 to 4 years, because if I hit a stage, I really want to make a dramatic appearance. So I want it to look totally different. Like I put in work and you can tell. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I want. I don't want to come back looking the same or
Did you
I
get
want
in
it to be very different.
did you get into working out with aspirations to get on the stage
I
at the
first got in,
beginning?
well, yeah, maybe like
Somewhat.
I had that in my head like a little bit. Like I thought, man, that'd be so cool. I used to watch guys like
Ronnie and Jay and all them.
well, yeah, them, and then like you had, what was that fitness model? He had the dark hair.
Greg,
Um, yeah, Greg
the
Plitt.
one
So
that
I
passed
used to watch
away.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that motivated me. I felt like I could be that for somebody else. Like if I could fix myself, then I could be that for someone else who's trying to go down that same path, right?
Yeah, but
And you
you
can help them.
yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
you definitely have but you got into it and maybe why I mean, it was the same for me. I got into it and I was watching like Ronnie and Jay and I was like, man, I want to be that big. And then you start doing it and you're like, dude, like you actually realize what it'd take to get that size. And then also I eventually realized I was like, I don't want to be that big. Like,
Yeah, I've hit that point. So
yeah,
that's where I'm at. Is I think this year was my first year hitting like the 220, right? And that was like heavy during the winter time. And it was really heavy for my frame. And
yeah.
I always wanted to be so big.
How tall are
And
you?
I'm probably like 5'7".
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Yeah, so that is a lot for you because I'm
That's
5'9".
a
I hit 210. I was like, man, this is a lot of weight.
I
Like,
try walking up the steps, man. That breath, my breathing when I'm sleeping too. You snore and stuff like you
yeah,
don't mean to. It's just all that weight, extra weight you're carrying. Your heart's working extra. You really got to take thought in that. It's cool to be in shape, but
yeah,
like, what's better is to be in shape and healthy at the same time. You know,
yeah,
and you don't want to look any too big. It would start to look like a potato. So I still want to look at it like an art piece, right? I
right.
want symmetrical, I want that look.
That's
Like
even
old
like
school.
that's even like the top open bodybuilders. I've seen it countless times. Like you look back at some of their old photos when they were like kind of early in their career, dude, their physiques were amazing. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
they kept pushing the envelope because that's what kind of I don't know, they ever felt they had to do or whatever, and everything gets blown out. They don't look the same. They don't look as good anymore. They're massive, but their
That's-
lines are all gone.
I like it. I like that classic golden physique,
Yeah,
the hair.
just yep. Arnold's era and all that stuff. It's kind of so I don't know if I don't know if bodybuilding, even the open, maybe it's kind of trending backwards towards that finally. I don't know.
There's a lot more classes now from what I've last heard. They've added a few more classes, and but I know since classic physique it grew. I know when men's physique came out, that was a big deal back then. I remember when that was like a thing, and the bodybuilders would be like, "Oh, it's men's physique," because you bumped heads, but like it's very competitive either way. I've seen men's physique guys just as big as some of them.
Which I always found silly though is like some of these, not all of them, but you'll see some of these top level guys, and they'll talk down on people that like do men's physique or do whatever. And I'm like, y'all got to realize that like not everyone like me, like, yeah, I used to want to be huge. And then it finally got through my head. I was like, one, I don't think I have the genetics to carry that kind of mass. And then secondly, to get, even if I wanted to get that big, that the detrimental health effects aren't something I want to have. Like, I don't want to, it's not something. So it's not like, I don't know, like you can train like still like super hard, even if you're only doing like men's physique or even classic. I mean, those guys just keep getting bigger anyways.
Yeah.
So, and kind of like you touched on earlier, like people like the weight and stuff, the weight you move, it's all about like you can make, say you can bench, like you normally rep out 315 on bench. You can move down to 225 and make that weight just as heavy as that 315, just based on your tempo and like whatever, there's a lot of different methods.
Yeah, like, you do pauses, you can use bands, you can pump it out, like you can do half reps, and then like push it full. Like they'll wear you out. There's different ways to tear up the muscle tissues.
Because that's what I remember. There's a time like there's been very few times where I've like failed completely on bench. Where normally I have a spotter or something. But I remember one time I dropped down to like 135 and I was just repping that out. But it got to a point where I was benching by myself. Yeah. And I got to that final, like, well, I was trying to push as many as I could. I couldn't get it off of me. Like I had to do that. I had to do that thing where I had to like roll it down my body.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, well, at least it was only 135 though. But yeah. So let me ask you this: what are you like? Are you pretty regimented right now on your food and stuff? Or are you kind of loose? Like,
oh yeah. So like, wintertime is when I get loose. Right now, I'm getting a little more strict, but I do eat carbs more. Everybody like takes out carbs. Everybody's against the carbs. I'll still leave them in like for my first 2 meals. Sometimes like on like after like a hard week's workout, I will eat, like I'll pick a Saturday where I'll load up on some carbs, maybe for 3 meals, but other than that, I'm pretty much sticking to chicken and fish, lean meats, red meats every now and then. I'll do like a burger every 4 weeks, just to get a little bit of red meat. But I am trying to slim down a little bit. I got a beach trip in 3 months. So yeah, so you want to look kind of all right on the beach.
Right. But I'm
treating it like a show. Yeah. So if that's what you're wondering, I do treat it like a show. I give myself a date. Now, when I give myself a date, this actually makes me push harder. This gives me like, okay, I got to be ready. My ass has to be ready by this date. There could be no, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's exactly how I go into whatever I'm doing. Like if it's acting, if it's modeling, I'll write down a date and I say, by this day, I have to look like this.
Right.
And I'll remember that, and I'll work on that every day.
So it's always like a goal to shoot towards, essentially.
Yeah. Write it down, like put the pressure on, make it to where it's got to be on that date,
Yeah.
Because when you got a date, you got to be ready for it. Like it's totally different than just saying I'll get in shape this year.
Yeah,
Tell me when you're gonna get in shape.
I think for a lot of people though, they're not able to do that. Like that's kind of like New Year's resolutions. Everyone's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get in shape," and like by February, my gym had already died off. Like I already saw the drop off. It's always like people make it like 4 weeks maybe if they're lucky, and then like, yeah, I always tell people though, like if you can like, I don't know, this is what I believe in. I'm like, if you actually stick with it for 3 months and you actually like, you build up to where you kind of get to know what you're doing, get used to all the exercises and like somewhat diet or eat the correct foods, like the change you can make in like 3 months. And you'll also in that 3 months, make it more habitual. 4 weeks is not enough. Mm-hmm. So I always tell people, I was like, if you take like pictures from the beginning and then 3 months later, that may be enough to where you're like, oh shit, like this actually works. But a month just isn't like, a month if you're just getting into like working out.
3 months to see a good, like if you want to see like a good transformation, 3 months. You want to see an awesome transformation, give it 12 months.
Right.
You want to see something totally different, 12 months.
Yeah.
But if you just want to see if it works, give yourself 3 months.
Yeah.
And really dedicate.
I just tell people 3 months because that's what I feel like is like kind of the point to where people may stick with it afterwards if they can reach that 3 month mark and they actually put in the work prior.
Yeah.
So that's just my kind of thing. I just feel like 12 weeks is probably like a pretty good standard to where, because a month, dude, like your body can't even adjust yet. It hadn't even adjusted to like everything. Like if you're just getting into work,
like in the beginning stage of like getting prepared for that mindset.
right? You got to
That
get the
first month
mindset
really,
right.
like, gets you like, you know, comfortable with it.
Yeah, and if you never worked out before, you don't even know what the hell you're doing in the gym. Like you don't know, the exercises are going to be sloppy as hell. Your form's going to be terrible. Like you're not going to know what you're really doing.
They'll
So
be
you
a
got to.
little nervous too, you know, because you'll see some big guy. You know, people get nervous when they're in there, and you really shouldn't, because no one's in there to judge. But like, you do, it's there, it exists, you know.
Oh yeah,
So
I
that
think.
affects people.
Yeah, but I think really though, like going back to people that come in the gym, they're kind of overweight or kind of embarrassed to go in, and like they see someone that's like maybe really fit and like really into it, and they're like, "Oh, that dude's gonna judge me." The thing is, at least for me, I'm probably judging myself. Like I'm my own worst like critic as far as like when I'm in the gym, like I'm like, "Oh, that looks like shit." Like that
Yeah.
would, I'm not like, I don't care about someone else in there. Like I'm actually probably looking at someone else and being like, that dude has a pretty good build. Like he's in pretty good shape. Or whatever it may be. So like, I don't know. People get caught up though, thinking people like really in shape people are going to be like looking down on them or something. Whereas I'm more so.
I think they go in and they're focused. But like, I think it's nice for people to acknowledge people and wave. You know.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Like encouragement. I always thought it was cool when I first got started. I told you I was embarrassed to go. Right.
Yeah.
There's big old boy, man. Special forces, like. He used to do all the bouncing and stuff, the security guard, all that stuff. And man, I just thought he's the biggest dude I've ever seen. And I was like, he would encourage you, man. And that was a lot for somebody to not be an asshole, to see somebody in that light, not be a jerk to somebody, and be encouraging and saying, come, you know, you're doing good, and to maybe like teach you a few things, you know, because one day you're going to be that guy and you're going to have to hand it back down to somebody. You have to be that for someone else. It's pass it on.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what a lot of times I see people in the gym and I kind of want to like help them out because I see them like doing something wrong. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to be that guy where I like, yeah, like,
right.
Yeah. Unless they ask or something. And then like, it's very rare for someone like to approach me anyways, because I guess I always have headphones on. So people are just kind of like, yeah, I'm not going to. And I probably like, if I'm like really into a workout, I don't really like, I don't know. I'm probably like staring at the ground a lot, or like not even trying to make eye contact with people because I don't really want to talk to people necessarily. Yeah. Like if I'm really getting at it, because it's not like here's the problem. Like I've been to gyms before, and if you're there long enough, you end up meeting so many people that you walk in the gym and like you always get stuck in a conversation with somebody.
Right. That will take like 30 minutes, man. Yeah. 45 maybe. Like you're trying to be nice, but at the same time, you need to.
Well, then it's one person, then it's the next person. Like, you don't want to be a dick to them, but then, like, and then if you're really in the zone, like, I try not to even make eye contact with people to even, like, give that, like, I don't even want a chance of a conversation. It's not, and a lot of people probably think, oh, this dude's a dick or, like, an asshole or something. It's not that way. It's just, like, if you actually really get into that zone, you can't get in a conversation. It'll bring you out of it.
Right.
Like, and if you get in that zone, dude, like, it's, I don't know, like, I've had points to where like this has rarely happened. I don't know if it's ever happened to you, and maybe it's something else was going on. But like, I remember one time I was squatting and I was really getting at it, and like I did the set, and like I remember finishing, and I didn't notice during the set, but I guess I was so into it, like I had music and stuff going, but like all that drowned out. Like I got done with that set, and all of a sudden the music came back in, and I could hear the gym around me, and like. I was like, oh man, like everything, it's like you go to a different place.
You get, once you get tunnel visions, what they call it.
But
you're just really focused and you stay focused. And that's how it should be. For 45 minutes, you shouldn't talk to nobody. You should be focused on your breathing. If you got time to talk, man, you ain't working hard, right? Because like, your only time where you have like little breaks is where you should be catching your breath. And like, it depends on what you're in there training for. If you're training for like, if you're really training for a show, then you can't be messing around. You're not in there to play around. But if you're in there to just exercise, get fitness and whatever. That's cool, man. You can like, but don't interrupt someone else's. Be mindful, you know.
Right. And that's
Like,
what
quick
that
2 minute.
that
Okay.
is a good point, because I brought this up on my last podcast. It's like when I used to really be getting at it, and it's because if you're really getting at it, you're in this different mindset to where like you just want to kill it, and like you're totally into it. And so like I used to go in the gym, and I told this on my last podcast, I'd be kind of judgmental towards other people, not in the sense that like it was more so like I was in such this mindset that like I didn't understand why other people aren't getting at it as hard. Like,
Mhm.
and then
Everybody's in a different place.
yeah, and then you have people that approach you and they're like, yeah, I want to do a show, or I want to do this and that, and like, but they're not doing what they need to. Like they're not eating the correct foods. Like people don't understand like what goes into it. Like it's a
whole lot more than what they think. Because once
yeah.
you really do it, you see all the food, you see the diet, you see all the time. I remember someone asked me the other day, "What was it really like? What's your prep like?" And it's a nightmare, because it's a roller coaster of just nonstop, man. Like you get like no sleep, you're training all the time, you're dehydrated, some nights I would have leg spasms, they'd shake like crazy, and it's just it happens, like you're gonna have good days, bad days, a lot of bad days where you don't even feel like going,
Yep.
and you're gonna have to get your ass up, and you're gonna have to go, and you're gonna have to train just as hard as you did when you first wanted to go, right?
Yep.
And I mean, there's so much into that. It goes into play. There's the emotional stuff, but like, it's wild, man. It takes a whole lot, and for people to do that, it's honorable. It's very cool experience to go through. Is it for everybody? Probably not, but it's something. It's something. If you wanted to prove something to yourself, that's a tough thing to do.
I know you
And
saw.
be proud of yourself, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you saw this a couple years back though too, when men's physique came out and bikini, women's bikini or whatever. Like, dude, I guess right when I got into like really working out, trying to remember the year, but it was right before like really like Instagram and like social media and all that stuff really like started. Like it's kind of when bodybuilding or working out was still kind of like
Sport became a fad.
yeah, it wasn't a fad. And then so men's physique came out, and like I didn't want to compete. I had people telling me to compete, and I was like, I don't care to. I was like, I just like working out, like, and then finally I was like, oh, whatever, I'll do a show. But like around that time, dude, like men's physique, dude, the classes were huge around here.
Oh yeah.
because everyone's like, I'd meet so many people. They're like, yeah, they're like, I'm about to do a show. I was like, oh yeah, cool. How long you been working out for? They're like 6 months or something. And I'm like, whatever, like that's cool. But I'm like, I guess for me, like, dude, I didn't want to step on a stage. Like I was 5 years into it or whatever.
Right.
Like I didn't want to, or maybe not that far, but definitely a couple years into it. Like I just don't see it. It was a fad though, where people were like, yeah, I just want to compete and get on a stage. Like,
I feel like that's similar, but it's not as what it used to be. I don't think, not as like where it'd be like you'd have some really tough athletes, like you had some real athletes, man. And now it's you got a mixture. You still got a few athletes, but they're thrown in with other people, and it's like, is it fair? I don't know anymore. Like, but those guys, you can definitely see a difference between the years of experience, because like you'll see what will be thickness. It'll be added thickness, and it's very dense.
yeah,
It's totally different, because when you got a big guy, you can have a big guy. I've competed against guys before that were bigger than me, 6 foot tall and stuff. But when we cut down, I have more muscle mass. It's more dense, so it's bigger. Whereas they look bigger, but when they cut down, it's so small because that muscle's not as big as what you thought it was, right?
Yeah, and that's what another thing people don't. I don't think people, or the general public, doesn't grasp was they like they'll see someone that's big or has a lot. Like you have a lot of guys that like they're big frame guys, whatever you want to say, and they look big, probably like in a t-shirt or something. But I'm like, you don't understand how much like fat those guys are carrying, for one, and like really that 180-pound dude is bigger or carries more muscle mass than that 230-pound guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then too, it's also like you have like people like I know, and like you got people like Phil Heath, where like he's wearing a shirt or something, he doesn't look as big next. If like Jay was still in his prime and Jay was in like a t-shirt,
Yeah.
Jay would look like the bodybuilder, you know, like whereas Phil would just look kind of like you tell he worked out.
Yeah.
But then if they pull off their shirts, then
They look like the guy at the gym versus the Mr. Olympia.
Yeah. But
that's
then
the difference between those eras, I guess.
Yeah, but
yeah,
then
I know what you're talking about.
Phil pulls off his shirt though, and he has those muscle bellies that like I don't know if you watch the 2011 Olympia?
Yeah. That was a big talk.
Yeah. So that's the one. That's first year Phil won, and I remember I remember watching that show and like him walking out, and I was like, damn, like he just looked like I remember he had like purple trunks on. I don't remember if it was prejudging in the night show. I think he had purple trunks. But I was like, and then like dude, like he was like amazing. I was like, dude, this dude's like he's definitely gonna win this show. There's no way unless they just want to gift it to Jay again or something.
Yeah, right.
But I was like, but then even Phil, dude, he kept chasing like the size game, and I think he blew out.
That's what happens. I've seen it happen to Branch Warren and a couple
dude,
guys. Everybody back in their day, yeah.
Dude, Branch back in like I remember it wasn't too long ago. I was looking at some photos of him back in like 2001 or so. Like back like he was still like, you know, a good bit younger, dude. His physique was like killer.
Yeah.
And like he totally blew it out.
Yeah, it's that demand to go bigger, go home. It's bigger. Well, they want bigger. Everybody demanded bigger and better. And it's you only go so big, right?
Yeah.
Before it like starts not looking. And that's where I think we got to. I think that's like becoming an issue, and people are bringing it up.
Yeah.
You know, like what is too big now? What's too big? What's real bodybuilding? Because real bodybuilding back in the day was symmetry and size and proportion and striations and lines and stuff like that. Real art, right?
Right.
And now it seems we got to who's just the biggest.
Yeah.
Right?
That is what it is. But
maybe we'll come back. I don't know.
Well, we kind of need to, but then you even see in like men's physique and classic physique, when those things started out to now, the guys just keep getting bigger.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the demand. Like I said, everybody expects you to be bigger and better. It doesn't matter how good you were the previous year. You got to be bigger and better than that year. You know what I'm saying? You got to constantly, they want you to progress, but they don't understand at the same time because the spectators, they don't understand what all that takes to push yourself to that limit. I mean, you're working hard. These guys are busting their ass like none of 2-a-days. I remember doing 2-a-days during prep time. I don't know anybody that was doing that. You know what I'm saying?
I never did.
My feet had like holes because I ran so much. They were just falling apart. Skin's falling off. Beat up. My legs shake at night. I remember I was so dried out at one point. I was doing like hanging ab raises, and my jaw locked up, and you can't move it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, things happen. So you definitely want to like stay somewhat hydrated.
Have you ever got an ab cramp?
An ab cramp?
Yeah.
Yeah, when flexing, yes.
Yeah.
More towards like the end of prep though, not just like random like right now, no, but like towards like end of prep because you're like drying out. Yeah, everything will just cramp.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hard. You got to find out where your sweet spot is.
See, I don't even know. For a while, this years ago, I had a problem where like anytime I'd go to do like crunches and like other stuff, any kind of like ab work, it wouldn't happen every time. But dude, I would get this fucking ab cramp, and like I would just be stuck. Like if I was doing like decline, like you know, ab crunches or whatever it may be on a decline bench, dude, and I'd just be like, it would hurt so fucking bad, like, and I'd just be stuck, like.
Yeah.
I couldn't crunch back up. I was just stuck, and I'd try to like bend back and get it out. And it wasn't even like I was dehydrated or anything. It just always cramp up.
Damn.
So it's kind of weird. But so I ask you kind of like, so you're somewhat regimented right now in your diet.
Yeah. I'm constantly training. I train like every day. I have a.
Let me ask you this: Are you regimented enough to where you know like what your macros are? Do you have like do you have something certain you're going to hit? Like me personally, like
as far as like calorie intake and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like, do you have a set amount of protein you want to hit every day that you try to hit every day?
I find like if I just eat and I'm not even thinking about that, like I see food, I know I'm eating my 6 to 8 ounces of chicken or fish, whatever, per meal, and I'm getting 5 meals in a day. And then I'm getting my 2 cups of greens in each meal.
Mm-hmm.
I know as long as I do that, and then I have like maybe I'll switch out carbs from like naan to like brown rice or sweet potato, stuff like that. I might even, one day I even ate a donut, like, but it was like in place of where I had my. As long as I like stay on that, like just that's like without competing. When it's competing, you have to be dead on.
Well, yeah, of
You
course.
can't, but it's just life living. I find doing it just like how I am, man. I'm actually gaining more quality muscle. I'm even juicing now, so I'm juicing like vegetables and fruits. So like on top of eating my broccoli with my meals, I'm also like taking in like a large glass, maybe this big of it's just a mix of like beets, microgreens, like all kinds of microgreens.
I think we talked about that a while back when I was on the phone with you.
Ginger, turmeric, apple, like I'll throw it all in there, and kale, spinach. So I'm getting that also,
Right.
In another way. So it helps clean you out, but also I'm also absorbing those nutrients as well. A lot of people are nutrient deficient. I'm still on top of my vitamins. As a matter of fact, I've been told I'm looking a lot better now than I did at show. But like I'm enjoying the process more now because I'm not as strict during the show time. I'm a little more hard on myself.
Right.
That also makes stress go up.
Oh yeah, and that makes your physique look worse.
Yeah. So like cortisol. So right now I'm sticking to this diet, and this is just like I'm still growing. When I want to like really trim down, I'll probably have like maybe just a cup of oatmeal in the morning, and then I'll keep it really simple and do 6 ounces of chicken or fish and maybe 2 cups of greens each meal and a gallon of water a day. And that's it, man. That's very simple. That is very simple, but that works. I promise you that works. Like, yeah.
Yeah, touch on like
it's hard
stress.
for people to do, right? It sounds easy, but it's very hard for people just to stick to it and do it because you're like, damn, I want to go eat some chips. I need some snacks.
Right.
You can't do none of that. You got to get serious.
Yeah. See, that's what, like, for a long time, like, dude, I dropped all the way back down. The end of last year, I dropped all the way back down to 155 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely wasn't eating, like, I'd still eat, like, I eat ground turkey every day for, like, 2 meals. I always do that. But I was eating, like, a lot of fucking, like, junk food, like chips and all that stuff. And I was still losing weight, though. Yeah. And, because I have that weird metabolism. But, I finally, for like 3 months, I've been pretty strict as far as I changed. Like, I eat the same exact foods every single day. Like, outside unless something throws me off to where I got to, like, substitute something or I'm out of something and something has to change. But other than that, I eat the exact same stuff every day. And, like, I kind of have an issue to where it's hard for me. Like, I kind of tell people, like, I either got to be, like, 100% on and, like, just do it, or I have a problem of having like a middle ground to where it's kind of like I either got to be regimented or I'm not.
Right.
And when I say I'm not regimented, I'm still probably eating somewhat what I'm supposed to, but I'm not as like strict with it and like not as like right now it's same meals every single day, like same stuff. And all I'm doing is like, for a while, like, dude, my protein's been low. I was only eating like 130 grams of protein. Mm-hmm. And like, I end up gaining some size back, but finally a couple weeks ago, I got to a point to where like I could tell in the gym, like my strength wasn't increasing anymore. And I was actually like kind of like feeling a little run down. So I was like, all right, let me bump up my protein some more. I bumped up that.
You'll feel worn out.
Oh yeah. I only
bumped weak and stuff.
I only bumped it up like 30 grams, but that's enough to where like, it's almost at the point now, I'm only 170 pounds now. So it's almost at the point where I'm getting enough for that 1 pound per pound of body weight or whatever. But it already made a difference. Like I went in the gym. It was last week. I guess I did legs. I've been doing leg press for a while. And cause I don't even squat anymore, but I've been stuck at a weight for a while. And finally, like I was able to throw an extra 2 plates on there just from upping my protein.
Yeah.
Like that's all it took. And so
it's that little bitty extra, like it really is. Like, I know when I started like really eating, I noticed my strength went up quite a bit from like getting started. When I first started, I didn't really have the knowledge.
Right.
I was just kind of going there, just training. You'll see some definition, but if you want to see some real magic happen, follow it, man, like to the T. And like it is all about trusting the process, because like you will constantly beat yourself up if you do that middle ground thing, because you'll always say that you're chasing it, that you're doing it, but you're also not doing 100%.
Yeah, and you're never gonna see
Mad at yourself because you know you're not going 100%,
and
so
you're never gonna see the results that you should see either. Like,
right. And
so
there is a happy middle ground too. Like for people that don't compete, you know, there's a way to have a fun lifestyle that's just awesome, and still be able to eat healthy and still have your little cocktail and still able to have desserts. I eat pineapple upside down cake, cheesecake. You know, I still have my moments where I go out and I'll feast and I will eat. I don't care,
and
because I know I'll bust my ass in the gym.
right. And what people don't understand too, like if you actually put the work in for like a period of time, you can actually enjoy, like, the more muscle mass you can accrue, the more you can kind of like eat some of that bad stuff and it doesn't really affect you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So like people understand, like if you like, dude, like people think like some of these top level bodybuilders are like strict all the time and eating like fucking rice and chicken and shit. Hell no. They're not. They're eating a bunch of junk food unless it's like comp time.
Yeah.
Outside of that, dude, they're still eating a lot of crappy food, and there's other things that come into play with that. But like the more muscle mass you carry, the more you can kind of eat some shitty food and kind of get away with it.
It's true. Yeah, it's
You
true.
just gotta put the work in before though.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
all right.
I
So
mean, back in the day, like 90s, you know, they're eating like KFC, Burger King, Big Macs, Wendy's, like, you know, like stuff in their face. I'm talking like, and you're just thinking but it was all about calories. But you also saw that was the whole like bulk, get big, and then cut back.
yeah,
How was that? Now with that, you put on a lot of extra fat and stuff, which is it's not necessary. There's smarter
no,
ways to do it now, and we know that. So like, sometimes I still get caught up into that 90s thing, you know, where I'm just eating whatever. But like really want to get solid, like I'll get on to it and get down with the science and like really stick to it. Mm-hmm.
all right. So one reason I want to bring you on is because I hadn't had anybody that like. Well, I've had people that have used CBD and stuff on here before, and people involved in kind of the industry. But I wanted to ask you, because you're in the fitness for one, and you also use CBD. So why do you use it, and how do you get into it? Because I know you contacted me, like I guess it's probably almost been like 2 years now.
Yeah.
You kind of reached out to me about it, and then so what drew you to it? How did you get into it, and like why do you use it?
I know it works for a fact, and I know there's some out there that aren't as good as others, and that's like anything that sucks. But like the reason I got into using it and why I use it all the time is because my ligaments, my tendons, they take a beating. Over time, I've lifted probably heavier weight than what I should,
Right.
and I pay for that now. Say like during the winter time, I'm eating a lot, so I'm also able to lift a lot more. Well, versus now it's getting close to spring, I don't eat as much, and I've also don't lift as heavy. But if I tried to pick that weight up, I could feel it run through my forearms and stuff. So I'll take CBD. I even rub the cream that you have. I can rub the cream on my arms over on my elbow for like tendonitis.
Yeah.
Because over like I don't know how many years I've been doing this, I've developed a little bit right there from triceps and curl. You know, just heavy weight strength. And you're always trying to push it a little heavier, because I think as I was younger, like I think as you're younger, you go through that phase. You go through so many phases through lifting.
Oh yeah.
Before you finally like lose that ego and you're just training smart.
Right.
That's what it gets to. That's the goal. It's where everybody wants to be.
How old
But
are
as
you?
a young man, I'm 31.
Okay, so you're same age as me.
So like when I like in my 20s, early 20s, dude, I used to go in there and I'd have to like wear the stringer, right? And you had to like lift heavy to get some respect or something. And it's not even about that. Like, but I think as you age, you learn all that.
Well, yeah, you also
I see younger guys doing that too, and I'm like, that was me a long time
But
ago.
yeah, and then also you also know, like, I mean, you just get away with more in your 20s anyways, and then you start getting up in like your later 20s and then early 30s, and you're like, you start feeling shit, like,
Yeah,
and people
people
like,
don't.
I was like, all right, I was like, yeah, y'all enjoy that while you're young, but eventually it's gonna start catching up to you. Like, I already know, like, I'm not even gonna complain yet because I know, like, by the time I'm 40, I'm gonna be feeling it even more, and I'm gonna have to change up my training, like.
Oh yeah,
By the time I'm 40, like, I'm probably gonna be like mainly focused on a lot of like lighter reps and just like pumping it out and like, because
even yoga, man, something like that, swimming, stuff like that, riding bikes, whatever you can do different things.
right,
I think as you age, you got to make it more fun.
yeah,
Right now, like we take bodybuilding or that's all we do, right? But I think you need to be more functional. I think to have a really good physique, you also need to be able to use it,
yeah,
right? Yeah. Instead of just looking pretty good, you want to also be able to use it and be
yeah.
really good.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's really like having a lot of muscle. Most people aren't very like athletic. Like you lose a lot of that because you're not trained for it. Like all you're doing, I'm not. You can definitely be athletic and still be muscular, but you got to actually train for it. But I mean, if you're actually like a full time like bodybuilder or whatever, like you don't really like that takes a lot of extra time, like to and energy to try to train to be athletic as well. Like you
Yeah.
can't. I don't know if you can really do both. Like as far as if you're actually competing.
No, I think there's a happy medium to where like you got a real good quality athlete that's strong, in shape, and fast, and can maneuver, can jump. You want it all. You want to be it all. You want to jump high. You want to be the fastest kid out there, right? Remember, it's like the playground, but except everybody's getting older. you know. And now it's to the point to where, man, I want to be like 70, 80 years old, and I want to be in the best shape,
Yeah.
right? When I'm that age, because I don't want to be one of these people that are complaining about soreness. I know that soreness exists, but I also know that there's things that you can do,
Yeah.
right? Like you can, as long as you keep moving. I know, like uh, I don't know. I've actually been wanting to get into yoga. I just think stretching something as a bodybuilder, I've neglected a little bit. I should have done more of, you know. But
There's
it
kind
is good to stretch because you elongate your muscles and everything. You get that elongated look.
there's actually two camps on that. I don't know if you heard. Like some people are against stretching though because they think it makes you more prone to injury. They like because you have one
It's
camp
like
that says
rubber band, man. Like
you should stretch to prevent injury. Then you have other people saying stretching causes like micro tears in like your muscle fibers, make you
how
more
hard are you
prone.
stretching? You
Huh?
know, how hard are you stretching? I mean, I always stretched before I did any kind of athletic sport,
Yeah.
just to warm up. I didn't do it so intense to where I was gonna rip anything. You know, like be mindful. You're just trying to
Yeah.
loosen up joints. I even go to the sauna, heat it up a little bit. You know,
Just get the body warm. Yeah.
not enough to like start breaking sweats, but like enough just to get the body warm, and I'll loosen up my shoulders and stuff, with bands and all that, and then I'll hit the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I kind of changed
now,
how I do my
it
warm up.
hasn't affected me as far as
Huh?
gaining. It hasn't affected me as far as gaining muscle.
Right.
So
Yeah, I've kind of changed how I warm up too, though, which I don't do. Like, I should probably do some band stuff. I don't even know if my gym even has any bands in there. I need to buy some. But like, I've changed up. Like, if I go in there to like do like say legs and I want to leg press, I used to always like my warm up sets. Like, I build up. Like, I started out pretty light, but I'll always be doing like 15, 20 reps. And then I'd move up. Like, say I'd start with like 4 or like 2 plates on each side, on a leg press, do
right,
20 reps. I'd move up to 4, do 20 reps. And then I may do another 20 after that to warm up my legs still. And then I'd start throwing on more weight to actually do like working sets.
hmm
But lately I've actually changed up and I've been doing to where I'll throw like 4 plates on there, like even just like 2, and like I'll do like 15, 20 reps. Then I'll go ahead and move up to 4 and do like 15. And then after that, I may go up to like 5 plates on each side and do like 6. And then that's like my warm up. Like I'm like, all right, I'm warm up. Like, and I don't like, I found that's actually better for me than doing, say I only do 35 reps versus probably the 60 I was doing before the warm up. And like, I find that's adequate for me to be warmed up because I end up like, I move up high enough in weight to where once I get to that where I want to do 6 reps, it's enough to where it's heavy.
Right.
But I'm using it to actually just get my nervous system like firing and like ready for what I'm about to do. Because I found like it's not like you want to warm up, but part of warming up though is getting like your muscle or like your nervous system ready to fire anyway. It's like for this heavy weight. Because if everything's not firing right, you're not going to be able to move that heavy weight.
Exactly. I feel like it's very important to warm up before you do any kind of lift. You know, to me, it's just like that's science. It just sounds like common sense to me.
Well, I have to now. Like, I can't go in there and just like throw on like one of my buddies. Like when I used to always lift with him, like he wouldn't really warm up that much. He just go ahead and like throw 225 on bench and like let's go. I was like, dude, I can't do that. Like I need to warm up some, especially now, dude. Like I got to warm up my knees and stuff. Like
I've seen it, but I've also seen people go in there cold and tear.
Yeah.
And I've seen pec tears. I've seen biceps roll up in arms. I've seen some nasty stuff. And this is all in person. And it's like, had they done something different, I think it could have been avoided.
See, I don't even do flat bench anymore just solely because so many people have gotten pec tears on that. And if I was to do flat, I'd probably only do dumbbell.
There's a pro that uses, like if I'm going heavy, right? I won't do it on a flat bench because I don't have spotters. I don't have a training partner.
Right.
So I can't go bother somebody in their work because I'm being mindful of everybody.
Yeah.
Right. So like you said, I either drop the weight and just rep it out so you can't go, or I use machines for my heavy stuff. And some people are against it, some people for them. But like I just feel like it hits the same muscle group, you know.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little safer for you.
I love machines.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
get done.
There's certain machines
real quick, you know.
There's certain machines that I've had to avoid like I don't like an incline bench that's like a machine that's like plate loaded because it bothers my shoulders because it's fixated. Like
right.
So it bothers my shoulders and like it always makes one of my shoulders hurt. And I also don't like, I don't know if you agree with this, but like most incline benches, they're inclined way too much. Like
yeah.
I don't think
it's gonna be different for everybody. Like as far as like
45 degree that like most benches are, I think that's way too much because it ends up putting like too much into like your shoulders. Like it almost turns it into more of a It's just, I think an incline bench should only really be like 25 degrees. Like you don't need that much to really like change it up to where you're going to target it better.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me because I've always been very shoulder dominant. So like I don't want some steep incline. Like dude, my gym, I'm going to a workout anytime right now. So the selection of machines is not that great.
Yeah.
They're benches that you can actually adjust. The first stop on it's like 45 degrees. So I'm like, where's the damn like 10, like 15 or 25? Like, you know, so I'd be in there like probably looking like a dumbass because I was in there taking their benches or even taking a flat one. I was having stuff, stick a bunch of 45 plates underneath it just to get the incline I wanted.
Yeah, just you don't need much really.
People are probably like, what's this dude doing?
Chest, yeah.
But that's just what I had to do. But and I like doing incline on like a spin.
You gotta get innovative though, you know.
Yeah. Well, what you were touching on about machines and how some people don't like them or whatever. Like, I think machines are great because they really like the ones that actually like work for you really good. You can really like get a good pump on them and really target the muscle you want to. Yeah. And you don't have to worry about like when you're on a bench, you got to use all those like say a flat barbell bench. You got to worry about using all your like stabilizer muscles as well to like balance that weight and like keep it stable. Whereas on a machine, you can put all that energy straight in the muscle you're trying to work.
Oh yeah, you just focus right on that muscle group and mind muscle connection very quick. Versus like I know like when you're free weight, your first thought is, damn, I hope I got this.
I'll try and get it up.
Yeah. So like, I mean, to me, it's like I have more control and focus, and like say if I get to a point where I get tired, it's not like I got to get up and change out plates. I can just hook it over, and you know it's very simple. I can go lighter, and I can then if say I went from heavy, then I could go lightweight, and I could do a rep. I could rep it out to 100 and just really pump that out and just focus. Like it's killer, man. Yeah, there's tons of different things you can do.
Yeah, so I think really like I think most people, most bodybuilders, like even like the ones that are like you have the people that are like, oh, just stick to your hardcore exercise, and like I get what they're saying because the basics work. Like all your
Mm-hmm.
standard stuff that people like if
You
you look
get that like build.
you look back at like Arnold on them, they didn't have all this fancy ass equipment like that we do.
No.
And now you see this what bugs me. Like, do you still do personal training?
Yeah, I do online training for
Do you?
people.
So
Yeah.
this what bugs me about all like the personal trainers now. Not I doubt you do this, but like they try to like come up with all these fucking specialty exercises. Like they try to come up with something unique that no one else has done before.
The Pinterest and Instagram stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and like they got
I
something
know.
special that like works like differently. I'm like, no,
It's
like
the
it
same
doesn't.
method. You need to teach people basics before, you know what I'm saying? Like they're like basics will get you. And there's stuff I've seen them like flip around, do some crazy stuff on a tricep extension where it's like, just turn around, do it
Yeah,
normal. You know what I'm saying? Like
but
I get what you're doing. You're trying to create something to have it named after you. I get it.
well
But
that
like at the same time, teach them all like real stuff.
yeah, but then it steers all like the new lifters the wrong way because they think like, oh, I got to do this special exercise so I can gain like muscle. Whereas like typically if you see like some like high level like guy doing this stuff, it's because they actually know how to target the muscle they're trying to get at, and they're doing something different to try to trigger like new growth.
Yeah, they're switching up. They're just doing a different movement for them.
Yeah.
It's a compound movement.
And then like you see like, do you ever watch like Charles Glass train people? You ever
Yeah.
watch? Yeah. So he actually like he doesn't do any like none of this like Instagram shit you see, but he actually knows how to like modify exercises like and like
It's
take
about like turning your wrist and stuff,
turn your
certain way
wrist.
your feet, angles,
Yeah,
all that
or
little bitty things change stuff.
yeah, and he knows actually how to like he knows like he can actually watch someone and tell like I guess if it's actually like triggering the muscle like he wants to, and if it's not, he knows how to change up the exercise to where it will.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, so there's a lot. I don't know. I understand like new people getting into it now, dude. There's so much bullshit that it's probably kind of hard to navigate as far as like, because I have kids or kids that used to approach me in the gym. Like they'd always ask me stuff like, what protein do you take? And I would always kind of laugh at them. Like, I was like, dude, I was like, don't even like, I was like, the protein doesn't fucking matter. Like, I drink protein shakes just solely out of convenience. Like they're nice to have to where I can get some extra protein. I was like, the protein powders are nothing special though. They're not going to put size on you.
Well, people get so confused. I've seen it where they'll just do the protein powders instead of eat. I promise you, I'm not making this up. I've seen this. And that's a big. I don't know who told people like that's all you can do. You just do that. That's not because you got to eat. That's just like a one-time deal, supplement like meal replacement. Like that's on the go after you work out. That's just something you should just throw in automatically.
The only people the only people who can do that and get away with it are like the genetically elite. Like I know Dexter Jackson. He said I think he used to do like 5 shakes a day or something because he said he couldn't. Well, he said it worked for him because he couldn't like I don't know. He said he's never a big eater, so he did like 5 shakes a day. Like most of his meals were like shake based for protein.
That's wild. That's wild. Yeah.
But obviously, dude, that dude's like 50 years old and still looks crazy.
Insane genetics. It could be just that. I don't know.
I think it's
got to. Some people are very gifted.
It's got to be. That's what too. I think a lot of kids need to realize too. Like you have a lot of people get into this and they're like, yeah, I want to go pro and everything, and like you got to be like realistic with yourself though too. As far as like, there's people like when it comes down to it, like the top level, it's all genetics. I mean, essentially, like yeah, sure. If you have 2 people with the same genetics, if you were to, then it would be solely work ethic that would like come to play to where who would win or not. If you took like 2 people that are identical, like genetic wise, and then like it'd be all work ethic, like what they did.
It really is, and there's the time. What was it? What was his name? He's the big blind. You know what I'm talking about? He does a lot of yoga now.
Big legs.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Lee Priest, but that's not it.
It ain't Lee Priest.
I know who you're talking about. He's known for his legs, and I can't think of his name. I don't know why.
I can't think of his name right now. Wow.
That's bad.
That's there.
That's bad that neither one of us can. I know exactly what you're talking about. The
Me
Godfather
too.
legs.
Yeah, man. Oh
Oh,
man. Over there in like Britain or something, right? He's over in Britain.
is he? Are you
On
talking
here.
about like you talking about old school, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like about
Um,
80s, 90s.
I can't think of it, and I think I was
I
just
don't know
watching.
why I can't think of his name. You know who I'm talking
I
about. I
gotta
know
look
you.
this up. I gotta look this up right now because it's gonna bug me.
Gates. Gates.
Huh?
Yates. Yates.
Was it Yates?
Yates. He said, Yates said, during his training, right? He never really changed much stuff up. He stuck with kind of the same
I
training.
I thought you were talking about Tom Platz.
Tom
I,
Platz had some big legs. I'm
okay,
talking
so
about
you're talking about someone else.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
Um, dude, well, he would talk about his training, and he was Mr. Olympia, right? Big boy. I think Ronnie beat him, but there's an interview that he did, and he said the gym that he would go to, it was just a little hole in the wall. It was just like, it was old equipment and stuff. There was nothing fancy about it, but he would hit these exercises and hit these compound movements, and he just developed such a massive body. So when he came and he hit the stage, everybody was blown away by his size. So you got work ethic too, which you know that goes a long way.
Oh yeah.
But, like there's a
Yes.
lot you can do. It doesn't have to be like fancy equipment. It doesn't have to be fancy like workout routines. So what I'm saying is like he went in there and did the same thing nonstop. He would just adjust the weight. Everything that changed was just the weight changed.
Right.
But it was still similar, very similar. And that's kind of how I've trained, and I've watched like how it's put on like you put on like pounds of muscle quick over time, you know?
Yeah. If you're lucky.
Yeah.
Because really, I guess really in the beginning though, when you start working out, like it's a whole lot easier to accrue like new muscle tissue. Whereas once you're a couple of years in, like you realize it's like, shit, this stuff don't like come on easily anymore.
No, not as like easy as what you think. I mean, especially like you're gonna have to eat a little bit more, and you might gain a little bit of fat just to so you can gain a little bit extra. So
You have to gain a little bit of fat to accrue some new like tissue anyways. Like there's no way around it.
so once you get past that point, and you know that you can come back and be shredded again, you'll be okay. But I think that part messes with people all the time, especially with competing.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. I remember like when I had an issue a long time just with like I talked about this in my last podcast, anyways. But like, yeah, after doing a show, like which I quickly realized I was like, you just can't look like that year round, anyways. Like it's not possible to maintain that kind of condition, and it's
No.
not healthy either. And but yeah, a lot of like I especially see it in like girls though, dude. They get messed up like after like doing their shows. Like for one, their hormones get fucking whacked. Like they get all messed up, and
Yeah.
then like mentally they're really messed up too because
You get
most of
body dysmorphia.
huh.
You get what's called like body dysmorphia a little bit, you
Oh
know?
yeah, well I mean yeah,
You're so used to a certain look.
yeah. And women get it really bad though because like they end up putting on too much weight like post show or whatever, and like dude it messes with them. Whereas guys, I think well actually for me or I think for guys like I always enjoyed post show.
You usually look a lot better, right?
Well, that and you get that post show rebound where like mine
You
was
can really add on some muscle.
yeah mine was bad though because like I cut down like I probably cut down to where my first show I was probably like 200 pounds and then cut down to like 170 I guess for my show.
Uh-huh.
But then like post show, well okay I'll go with my second show because I know exactly what I did. I think I was probably around 200, cut down like 170 around that, maybe a little bit over. And then like post show, dude, like of course like if you don't control it, dude, you need everything in sight.
It can get out of hand real quick.
Well, I was eating the point to where like I was getting sick, like eating that
Yeah.
much food. Like seriously, I'd eat so much food, I'd go to sleep for the night. I'd end up waking up in the night, and I was like, man, I'm gonna go eat some more. And
Yeah.
I remember one night I ended up having to throw up because I ate so much food. And I was like, all right, like this is getting a little excessive. And I ended up in 2 weeks, dude. In 2 weeks, I went from 170 to 210.
It don't take long, man.
No.
It really doesn't take long. Your body's so sensitive too.
Oh yeah. So I soaked up everything, but I loved it though because the pumps in the gym are insane.
Yeah.
Like, and then everyone too is like, they see you like prepping for a show, and you get like, you're in like super good shape. And then like you go in that post show rebound, and all of a sudden you blow back up afterwards, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? You're like,
Yeah.
I'm just eating a lot of food. Like, it's not very
Yeah.
healthy, but
Yeah, but that's the truth, man. I've seen people gain like 40 pounds like within just a few days, few weeks. It's very quick because that water and stuff starts to come back, and the carbs, and it holds on to all the water.
yeah, that's what
All puffy,
that's what
bloated, belly
yeah.
gets big.
That's what drives me crazy about all these people that do like these like cleanses and stuff, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna do my juice cleanse or whatever, or like some kind of liver pills they'll take or kidney pills,
Right.
and like they'll go on like a diet or something. They're like, yeah, they're like, I've already lost 10 pounds. And I'm like, oh yeah. I was like, what'd you do? They're like, I cut out sodas and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, it's not 10 pounds of like fat. Like, that it's just like 10 pounds of water. That's what you took off. Like people don't understand. Like I could drop 10 pounds pretty fast if I just cut out my carbs.
I know the day of the show for weigh-ins, I dropped 10 pounds like overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can do that, man. Like, just like pulling water and stuff, but it will come back. And when it does come back, just be prepared for it.
It sets
You
in.
got to be very smart with your rebound because you can use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. You can look all beefy and amazing. The whole goal is to look a little beefier, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. You're supposed to take advantage of it. I definitely went overboard. I remember like my buddy though. I remember he did a show and he did his post rebound, and his ankles ended up swelling and everything.
Yeah, you got to be careful, man.
So he was so concerned because he thought he had like kidney problems.
Right.
So, but he went to the doctor, and I think the doctor was kind of concerned too. But like it ended up, it's just where you just
was he eating like a lot of salty foods?
Yeah. So he just that's just where all the water like settled on him. Like, so he just got to. I guess I don't remember, but I think it just settled out and he was fine. Like he was just holding too much water.
Lay down, put your feet up so it can run back. You know?
So it can, yeah. But anyway, I'll wrap this up because I don't want to keep you too long. I know, but I'm gonna give you a chance too because you got your own little company going too. So you can kind of you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So I started this product line. It's very healthy, and it's to get people away from like using like products that have harmful chemicals in it, stuff like GMOs and all that. What I do is I use all natural products. I make, it's called, first of all, the business is called Shady Browns. It's just a little product line. I make room sprays, custom beard balms, so they're all different scents. I got like cherry, smoked cherry, Kentucky bourbon, Moscow Mule, and then the original. And they're all different. They all smell so unique, and it's a little bit better than what's out there right now. I do bath salt mix. I got roll-on colognes, roll-on perfumes. Sometimes I'll do dog biscuits. I do bath bombs and herbal teas. I got a sleepy time tea, cold and flu tea, and a feel-good tea. Yeah.
So you got.
I love it, man. I do this all with my hands. I handcraft all this stuff, from like getting the bags to putting the stickers on and all that stuff. Yeah.
So you're in a couple of stores too, right?
Yeah, a couple like little organic grocery stores. Oh My Chives was the first place that took me, and I've been talking to Turnip Truck and trying to get into the farmers market, hopefully for the summer.
Are you?
So that way, people around town or if anybody visiting can come by the table.
Yeah.
I do walk and stuff like that as well.
Do you? Are you in Franklin?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they got a good farmers market out there, I think, if you can get into it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been to it quite a few times. That and the one in Owensville and the one in Nashville.
See,
really cool. I like the Franklin area though.
See, I think I messed up because I was doing farmers market out in Hendersonville, but this is like 2 years back now. And I had a lady approach me about doing the one in Franklin or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't take down her name or anything because I think the Franklin one's actually kind of hard to get into. As far as like, I think
there's a lot of rules.
Yeah. So, and then it's like an application thing and you got to like put it in early enough. Well, this lady actually had like pull as far as like she knew people and stuff.
Right.
And I messed up because I didn't get her name or anything. And finally I reached out trying to get in that Franklin one. I don't think I could for some reason. I was like, damn it. I was like, I wish I would have kept that lady's name. Like,
yeah.
So, but yeah, that'll be good. That'll be a good place for you though to get the name out there more and everything. And
I think so. I do really well when I'm face to face with people, and I'll still do pop up shops. There's a few places in Franklin that are opening up that are going to carry a lot of my supplies, and I'm trying to spread it around Nashville, Murfreesboro, get it out to Smyrna, different areas of Tennessee, and then
that's
try to branch outward after that. It's going to take
right.
it's a process, but like, dude, I've done from training to like bodybuilding to the modeling, acting. It's all a mindset. Like anything, if you want, you just gotta hit the ground running, and you do it. You suck at first, but you get better and better.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to figure out about running a business because I've definitely
so much
screwed up so many things. But it actually gives you a lot more respect for like small business owners because you're like, damn, like it actually takes a lot of work. Like
there's a lot of work that everybody does, man. Like with their everybody's product, like your product, my product, we all work very hard. And as like outside consumers, you compare that to like the big time names. That's just on a factory. They don't really care. You know what I'm saying? It's on a factory, it's on a belt, conveyor belt, just going. Whereas you're like handling this stuff with care. You genuinely care. There's a difference in the product, I believe.
Yeah, there is, because here's the thing, like there's so many products out there to where the person producing them, they don't have any attachment to it whatsoever. Like their sole goal is like, it's money. Like they're like, I can make X amount of profit off of this product, and that's all they care about. They don't care. Like the whole reason I'm involved with like CBD and stuff is because my prior interest was just cannabis in general. Like it's just my whole thing is like, when I was younger, I probably had a little bit of different mindset, and it was probably a little bit more biased because I just really liked smoking weed. Like now that I'm older, it's more so like, which it was so when I was younger too, more so now my mindset is like, I just want people to have access to it to where if they want to use it, they can, and to get the education out there to where, like, I'm the first one to tell anyone I don't think cannabis is for everybody, and I don't think it'll work for everybody. And I also think there's certain conditions that it can treat to where two people could have the same condition and it works for one person but doesn't work for the other for whatever reason, just because there's something different, like genetically, how their body responds to it or uptakes it or whatever. And like, it's not solely like, I'm not solely about CBD either. There's a lot more like on the horizon that if Tennessee ever gets with a program, and like once we can do more research too, as far as like what everything does, to where we're going to be able to have like products that are like way more tailored to specific things, to where like if your problem's inflammation or your problem's anxiety or your problem is this or that, to where you can have specific blends of everything. Because the problem with cannabis,
you can have certain types.
Because the problem with cannabis right now is like, I'm anxiety prone. Like I used to be able to smoke the stuff all the time and I was fine. Now I have to be very selective if I want to consume it that way. I don't smoke much anymore. If I do, I use a vaporizer. It's actually behind me. I got my little pieces back there, but I use a vaporizer. But the problem though is like, even, I'm getting off on a tangent here, but even when you like grow the stuff, if you were to grow one variety and I say I consume it and I like it, the issue is I can grow that exact same variety over and over, but it doesn't mean that each plant I grow is going to be chemically the exact same. It can have some variance in there because this plant got more light, it got a little bit more water.
So it's just how the cookie crumbles on that.
Yeah, the soil was a little bit better in this part of the ground than that part of the ground. And so as much as I like hate like pharmaceuticals, well, I have a love-hate with pharmaceuticals because I think they have their place. But as much as I hate them, I kind of see cannabis going that way, as far as like, I hope it never goes fully like
where they start growing it and farmers get cut out.
Yeah, farmers get cut out, and then also where like it's all synthetic, I guess, to where like
you got to be careful with that too, because it's not the same.
It's not.
The makeup of it's not the same. It could be more dangerous. You know what I'm saying? I think they even tried a movement like that, like K2 or something. And like I heard a lot of people getting hurt because of that. It's not the same as the flower, right? It's not the same.
Well, yeah, the K2 is just a completely different molecule. I don't even remember, but yeah, a lot of people got in that K2 or that whatever it was, and a lot of people went to the hospital for it too. Because I think it acted on like the endocannabinoid system, like kind of similar like THC or something. But of course, it's different. It's not the same compound.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I know if Tennessee ever does legalize it, I would like to do, because I do a lot of cooking. I
was gonna get into that too, but
yeah, I'd like to use cooking oil and show people that there's a whole different side versus just smoking. There's so much really, you could gourmet cook anything and use that as an oil, and literally you can have anything. It doesn't have to be what people perceive it as, like smoking. Oh, it's bad for your lungs. It can be so many different ways for people. You could dress it up really pretty, and people would never know, right?
That's what I tell everyone. The worst thing about cannabis, well, the two worst things are if you get arrested for it, like that's one of the worst outcomes. And then secondly, the only other bad thing about cannabis is if you smoke it, it's bad for your lungs. Like that's that's why I use a vaporizer with a water pipe. That's about as safe as I can get it outside of actually doing edibles or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the only reason, like, I don't think smoking's ever going to go anywhere. Like, I think it'll go more towards like vaporizing or some kind of other method, because the great thing about vaporizing or whatever, smoking it, is like a lot of people need immediate effects.
Right.
They don't have time to wait on an edible.
So maybe like 15, 20 minutes or
30,
45.
But that's a great thing about cannabis and smoking it if you want to go that route, because you can actually titrate your dose better, as far as like you can smoke a little bit and like, okay, I need a little bit more. And then edibles can kind of be hit or miss, like, because I don't know. But anyways, what I was getting at is I kind of see cannabis going more towards like a pharmaceutical route, in the aspect that, like, I don't know how it's going to do this, but because the issue right now is like, you grow these plants, and even if you have a clone of that plant, and it should be the same genetic wise, there can still be variants in there. So like, if you're giving that product to customers, what they get one time and versus what they get the next, there's going to be a little bit of difference in between that. So like, we at some point have to get to a point to where everything's like standardized, to where
could you have more control over that in a hydroponically area, or is it the same problem, same issues?
I'm not the smartest when it comes, like, I've grown since I was a teenager, but there's definitely people that have like way more knowledge than I do. I think there'd always be variants, because like, all right, I'll give you this example. It's not even the best example, but the thing is like, all right, say this kind of a wild example, but it'll give you a little bit of information. Say you were to go to California, and there's some really popular like outdoor grown variety out there, and you smoked it out there, and you're like, man, I really like this variety. So someone's like, all right, I'll give you a cut of it. And when I say cut, that means like a clone. They're going to give you the exact copy of what they're growing, what they grow, a plant of it, a little small plant. You can bring that back. You can grow that into a mother plant, take all the cuttings you want off of it, and just replicate it over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
But then here's what changes though. You grow that plant out in California, and then you come back to Tennessee. We're at a different latitude and longitude. The sun spectrum that we get is different than what they get out there in California. And that light that the plant receives is going to change its expression, essentially. Like,
it's biochemical.
Yeah. And then also the soil that you grow it in, the microbes in the soil here are going to be different than they are out in California. And that's going to change how the plant expresses itself as well. Right. So like, what you grow out there in California isn't going to be the same as here. So like, I've seen people talk about stuff where they have like, people are trying to develop like special lights to where, like, say something gets grown special in like another part of the world. Well, they dial in these lights where, okay, it's getting this light spectrum, blah, blah, blah. Well, you have that light indoors at your house here in America, and you just dialed in to those specific spectrums or whatever. But then you still have the issue of the soil too. So you'd have to like bring the soil in.
What about the airflow and stuff?
The air, and there's all these microclimates and stuff. So like, I don't know if you can ever be, I don't know. It'd have to be like, I don't know where it's going to go, but it's hard for me to say. But I definitely don't ever want it to be where it's solely like all pharmaceutical, like made and grown.
I think there should still be some farmers. I think there should be like, I really do. I think that just like as with food, I think there should be farmers with that as well, because it's going to be different.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be different. Then like, I know that they're going to have their own coming out. I know that.
Oh yeah.
To compete with that, to try to knock out the farmers so that they control that market.
Oh
It's
yeah.
very smart. It's very smart. It's business. But at the same time, quality though versus these other farmers, man, like anything coming from farmers, it's always better. It's always better, because I think just because of the care, it's going to be a little bit less quantity wise, but quality wise, I always feel like it's going to be better.
Yeah, well, it should be, but I mean, there's definitely a lot of people that do it on a smaller scale that still do like a shitty job though too. Like,
Yeah.
and that's just lack of experience or just lack of care. Because I mean, there's definitely like a lot of farmers out there, whatever it may be. Like, but you're definitely right though, because it's actually a problem though right now though, even in the legal markets, like out in California and like Colorado, like most of the stuff sold in the stores out there, it's not as good as it should be.
Yeah.
And it's because it's getting to where it's so mass
I
produced.
bet it's like kind of like coming down a bit as far as quality.
Yeah. And then it's because it's all about money and like flipping product and getting it out and on the shelves and stuff. And like there's probably some mom and pop stores out there that still do it like right and stuff, and it's not all about the bottom line.
Yeah.
But the problem though too is even in those legal states, like someone like me, and I'm not even saying I'd be qualified. There's people out there that are way more qualified than I am for like growing stuff and growing really good stuff. But like, there's a lot of people out there that still grow on a smaller scale that grow like a really high end product.
Hard to compete.
But no, they're not even. They can't even sell their product to the stores because of how everything's set up. Like as far as like, yeah, there's some. I don't even know. I don't follow like the laws and like regulations how they got their program set up. But like a lot of them, it's not like a free market to where like. It should be set up to where you should be able to bring your product to the store, the dispensary, whatever you want to call it, and they get to select like what they want, like best of the best, like and all that. But it's not that case. They get stuff through like the same people. Like it's all like structured as far as like it's not like going to a farmer's market where you get to go around and select from the best fruit.
Right.
Like you're just like you're stuck with whatever's in the store, and they're getting it from most of the time it's more
going to be like worth spending the money on because it will be pretty expensive.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Like people don't, even in those legal states, the black market's still like going, like it hadn't gone anywhere because there's still a lot of times all the taxes they put on this stuff ends up driving the price up higher than it would be for people buying off the street.
Right.
So it's like, and if they know someone, they can go and get a better product for a lesser price off the street. So they don't even have to go through that whole avenue of going through a store or whatever.
That's going to be tough for that, for those teams.
Yeah, definitely is. But
I think that's going to be issues. Man, I just want to say thank you for having me on your podcast.
Oh, yeah. I know I took up more time than I told you I would, and I apologize for that. So,
no.
Hey, oh, ma'am. Sorry. But, yeah, I took up more than I told you to. I got to get to the gym myself. I'm sure you got stuff to do.
I'm about to head to the gym myself.
Cool deal. What are you working out today?
Today's back and tries.
Back. I got to do some chest, but.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate getting you on here. May have to get you on some other time, though, too, and talk to you some more about whatever.
Yeah.
We'll get into it more because we kind of bounced around, talk about more. But I like it being that way anyway, just talk about a bunch of random shit.
Yeah,
but, all right, cool deal. Well, I hope you have a good rest of the day.
All right, brother. You too.
All right, man. I'll see you, man.